If you're a parent and you're watching this video, I have to assume you're already at your wit's end. And if you're willing to take advice from a 31-year-old without kids, you have to be at your absolute wit's end, because this doesn't seem like this would be the place that you were going to get parenting advice that was going to be effective. Now, why do I think at 31 years old I have any business giving you a parent advice? I, growing up, was the trouble child. I was that child that bargained for everything. I was the negotiator. I was constantly trying to get away with whatever I could get away with. And I'm going to put this into perspective for just a second so that it starts to ring true to you parents out there and it starts to sound familiar. I didn't like to do homework. My mother was constantly grounding me in various different ways to try and get me to do homework. One of the things she would do is ground me from playing games. And so one of the ways I got around this is I waited until about 8, 9 o'clock at night once I heard everybody was in their bedrooms, and I'd sneak into my dad's office. I'd grab his old laptop that I had fixed up years before that he thought didn't work, and I'd play games all night, go to sleep at like 4 in the morning, wake up, go to school, be tired as all hell, and I'd just do that over and over and over again. I'd wait until they left the house, and then I'd boot up the PS3, and as soon as I saw them driving up the driveway, I'd turn it off and go haul ass back to my bedroom like nothing was happening. I know many of you parents out there are dealing with children that would rather find ways around the fact that they're grounded and would rather put their energy towards that than actually just doing their homework. And I know because I was that kid. And I want to put into perspective part of why that approach happens from the 31-year-old with likely undiagnosed ADHD that is a high performer, could perform fantastically, probably could have had a 4.0, and look at it through the tools that I've learned, what I've managed to apply to my own life now that I am 31, what works for me, what helps me be disciplined and get things done, and what was missing from my parents' approach that would have been a night and day difference to where my energy was going. So one of the biggest problems, especially with the ADHD mind, with what my parents were doing and likely what you're doing as a parent, is there wasn't a clear and obvious path to being ungrounded. And I know this sounds a little ridiculous. However, as the child whose goal was to be ungrounded, yes, doing homework was a path. However, as the kid, one, I don't know how long I'm going to have to do my homework and what exactly grades I'm going to get. Maybe you've even defined it and say I need to have A's and B's or A's, B's, and C's, whatever it might be. However, I have no clear path today, right now, to getting ungrounded. There aren't like 3 activities I can get done right in this moment that are clear to me that'll get me ungrounded. So instead, my brain is thinking about how I'm going to do the things that I want to do because I am very focused, whether it be, let's say video games, for example. I really like to play video games. I was very focused on figuring out how I was going to do that. And it was easier for me to plan waiting till my parents left and playing on the PlayStation until they got home than it was, all right, I need to do all this homework today, all this homework tomorrow, all this homework the next day. And I know this sounds so simple and like I should have just been able to do that. And what I'm telling you is without the clear pathway forward, I couldn't. At 31, I now use a to-do list on a daily basis in order to maintain my performance, in order to maintain discipline in the things that I know I need to get done every day. So the number one tool I would have introduced to my life as a parent would have been a nightly conversation with a physical to-do list, a physical journal that I bought my child, where I'm having them write down at the beginning 1 or 2 things that I want them to get done. Whether it be when they wake up, I want them to make their bed in the morning. If it's homework, they need to get specific homework done, or maybe it's check in with me and show me what homework did get done. Have a conversation maybe once a week about ongoing projects and how much work goes into this various projects. Start breaking it down. I know this sounds like a lot of work, but you parents, if you want your kids to succeed, these are the tools you have to be giving them. Problem solving is one of 2 ways. You either have the variables close-ended problem solving, where you know what the variables are, and there's open-ended problem solving where you have to define the variables yourself. Kids with ADHD, kids who are great at video games, are very, very good at solving problems if you define all the variables. If you start to get them to think about these projects in terms of how much they need to get done, help them think about how much time it's going to take. Maybe they want to get a certain chunk of the project done on Monday, and you help them write this down. You help them set this clear goal and clear intention for themselves. We talk a lot about goal setting. We don't talk a lot about clear goal setting. That was one of the biggest things that was missing from my life, was my parents interacting with me long enough to help me define the variables of what needs to get done so I can move towards where they wanted me to move towards, getting good grades, actually doing my homework. Instead of just saying, just do your homework, and leaving me with the open-ended problem solving. And again, I know I sound like I'm being ridiculous, and if you are a parent at your wit's end who has tried everything and is trying every avenue of control you can to just get them to do what you want them to do, I'm telling you it's not this simple, and you really should listen to what I'm saying right now. So start by setting clear goals with them on a nightly basis, having a set time every night that you and your child meet together and figure out what this to-do list is going to look like. And then you make this to-do list part of their pathway to getting ungrounded. If they've done, and not necessarily even getting ungrounded, becoming a tool for, is your to-do list done? All right, you can go hang out with your friends. You can go play the video games. And now the added layer. Now you've got to deal with, they said it was done. They said their homework was done, and then all of a sudden a missing assignment comes up. Now what? So now, again, we can use this to-do list as a tool. Maybe there's something around the house, something extra that they don't usually do. Maybe the house needs to be swept and mopped, and you were planning on doing that this weekend. Well, suddenly, you've got something to add to their to-do list. They now know this is getting added to their to-do list. They're getting this extra chore because of the missing assignment, because they said they did it and they didn't. And now, until this extra chore is done, they don't get to do the things that they want to go do. They don't get to go hang out with the friends. They don't get to go play the video games. However, they still have a clear pathway forward to be ungrounded, to go do the things they want to do. And you can still, through punishment, through making them do the extra chore, have them see the consequences of their action. So I really hope this video gets out to the parents that need tools like this. I highly recommend journals like this one, little bullet journals. I'll put a link to the Amazon page that I bought these. I just bought 4 more. Again, at 31, I have filled out almost 2 of these completely in the last 3 to 4 years, and they have absolutely changed my life. And if you begin a conversation with your children about the clear goals, the clear pathway towards getting to do the things that they want to do, I promise you, you will be blown away at how effective these tools are. Good luck, parents. And I can't imagine for a second how difficult it is to be dealing with a child like me.